50K ready, what's up? It is race week. Sorry for the lack of the Monday upload. I recorded this whole thing. It was fantastic. And then, in true rookie fashion, just my audio wasn't plugged in. But I've checked and I've triple checked and I've double checked. We are ready to talk race week. And I always want the podcast to be educational. So I always want to give some perspective on what my mindset is going into race week, especially the fact that I have a little bit more experience, and this race is a little special to me for a number of different reasons. And because of that, it's adding just a little bit more pressure on myself, but not entirely. This weekend, I am doing the Shore to Shore 50K. That is a 50K race here on Long Island, point to point, from the Long Island Sound on the North Shore, along the Suffolk County Greenbelt, all the way down to the South Shore of Long Island. And it's a fantastic route. And it's one of those things when I got into Ultra, I thought to myself, man, how did I never know this was here? It's literally in my own backyard, which definitely makes it a little bit more special to me for that reason. But just knowing that there was all this trail. Now, granted, there's a few road crossings. Sometimes we have to cross over or go under major roads as we come south. But I never knew that all of the little county, state parks, all of these things could be linked together. And when I first started running consistently, and we've talked about my journey to ultra marathon, so I won't bore you with that per se, but the fact that I could sign up for a quote ultra marathon, which at the time I didn't even know what that really meant, and it was right here on Long Island, that made it incredible. And I was new to my journey through sobriety. I was new to just getting fit again at 40 years old. And 1 month before, I sprained my ankle pretty bad. Now in hindsight, I know there was probably a little bit of broken stuff in there, but just a really, really bad ankle sprain that I got the last week in March. And I did not run after an amazing training block. I did not run from March 25th until April 15th when that race was 2 years ago. I ended up being well enough that I could tape it after 4 weeks. I taped it really, really well. Kind of just waddled through the race. I wanted to be an ultra marathoner. And I also knew that even if I had to walk it, I wanted to see Long Island and its beauty that I'd never seen before living here my entire life. I finished that race in 7 hours and 2 minutes, just over 7 hours. And since then, I have just fallen in love with ultramarathon. And I'm glad that I did waddle through that for 7 hours. I think about it, and now in hindsight, I'm like, man, I would never just go out and walk. But I think that's the first kind of piece that we can put to this puzzle. If you're new, you have different levels of emotional standard that you set for yourself when you go into a race. That day, it was like, hey, can we walk for 32 miles even if we had to? And I jogged a little bit in the beginning and here and there. But if I think about what my mindset was and what my goal going into that, it was just go out there and enjoy yourself. And I feel like over the last year or so, I've kind of lost a little bit of that. I've started putting a little bit too much pressure on myself. I've started having these expectations that even frankly somewhat aren't realistic, especially as I've gone up in distance. We went from that first 50K. In July of that same year, I did my first 60K. And then in September of that same year, 2023, I DNF'd Grindstone, my first 100K. And it made me so angry that I went and signed up for a 100-miler, which we are coming up. What's today? Oh, today's April 15th. Happy birthday to my brother, Dan. We are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of my first 100, which was Canyons Endurance Runs last April. And then we did Javelina. And now we're kind of focused on UTMB. But there are going to be these little things here and there that I really, really want to knock out. And Shore to Shore, last year I did not do it because it was so close to Canyons. I ended up being an aid station captain, and I highly recommend volunteering for races whenever you can. That was an amazing experience. I got to meet some incredible people. Jordan Buck I met for the first time then, who went on to win the Backyard Ultra. He ended up doing like 4th or 5th in that race, and he's going to be on the podcast here in the next couple of weeks. But I really wanted, even low-key, maybe I didn't say it, or yeah, I guess this is another point. I also have started getting to the point, and this is not good, that I'm thinking of it like, oh, it's just a 50K. Like it's just a 50K. And I've made the mistake before of thinking it's just a 50 miler or even it's just a 60K. I had a DNF last year in a 60K because I just went in and thought I was like hot shit because I'd done a couple hundreds. I knew for sure I didn't want to do that. And I also knew that there were going to be some other people local that were going to be doing it with me. So I made it a more conscious effort to train with other people. If you've seen on Strava or on my Instagram, I've been training with people that are faster than me. I'm definitely the slowest person in my group. And I tend to be a very, very like solo runner. I like to train mostly just on my own schedule with my kids and stuff. I tend to be very spontaneous when I go out and run. I don't tend to plan my long runs or get up, but this time I really knew it was going to be important because I want to get faster and I want to push into this race. Now, really what has happened there is I have these expectations that are starting to creep back in about what I can do. I know that I'm going to PR the distance. Like I know that my time 2 years ago, I should smash that time of 7 hours and 2 minutes. And frankly, healthy then 2 years ago, I would have broken that. But now I start to think, how far can I really go with this? And I'm trying to be patient. You guys know I am a full send guy. I frankly just do not know how. And I joke with my friends and it's become kind of like a meme, I guess, but I literally do not know how to do it. I have full intentions of like the last race that I did, we did like a 3-hour loop course. And I'm saying to myself, I'm going to go out easy. I'm going to go out like in training. I'm the low heart rate guy. I have no problem doing that. But whatever it is, and it's not even like competitiveness. I think it's just blind stupidity. That when I'm standing at a start line, I just do not know how to dial it back where I don't want to go out with the front. And I think maybe it's because I believe that I should be at the front, or maybe that I want to be at the front. And it's not even like I'm trying to hang with my friend, because all my friends are smart. Like in that race, they all passed me eventually. No, I didn't follow anybody out. You know, maybe I got 40 minutes in before they just started passing me and clipped me off and then beat me by 40 minutes. And I don't know what it is. Tell me, chat. Tell me, what do I do? I really want to figure out a way that I can just dial it in, because I feel like I've tried everything. I've gone out, like last person out, but then I find myself getting frustrated by conga lines and stuff on the single track. I've gone out way too fast and just blown up immediately. And then I've gone out, I think actually Javelina, I went out like the perfect speed for me and what I needed to do. But I've also never been a negative split guy. I think negative splitting it's just dumb to me in a way that like, and I've heard David Roach say the same thing. Like you kind of left stuff out there. And I'm saying that like negative splitting is dumb and stupid. But then again, on the same breath, I'm talking about how I always blow up. So I think if I had to pick one goal for the race, it is not to blow up, or, you know, at least go out with a pace that's reasonable. And I don't know what that pace is. It's super frustrating. Now, I know people that I should be around the same pace is, like I mentioned a second ago. All my friends are faster than me. Like, I can't even it's one thing, and I think Jordan Buck, in the recording that I just did with him, that episode hasn't come out yet, but he said something very, very awesome about the recent 100 miler that he did. And it taught me a little bit of perspective. He said, like, yeah, I won that race, but I didn't necessarily care that I won that race. He's like, I could have called up 10 people that could have went to that race and kicked the ever-living crap out of my time. He's like, I race for what I think my potential is, regardless. Like, granted, he wants to win, but I think going into this, I have to understand what my realistic goals are, and wherever that falls in the placing of the race, I think that's one thing. I used to shoot for wins and age group podiums and things. And over the last 6 months, and this is a teachable moment, I guess, for you if you're new, if you're going on long runs, you know what your paces are. If you're training on the course like you should be, if you can, you should know what your pace is going to be. You should be able to, over a long training block, be pretty damn close to what your pace is going to be on race day, barring weird things like heat or rolled ankle or nutrition or sickness. You should be able to dial that in. And I have no problem going the record on saying that I would like to go 5 hours. My PR for the 50K distance, which was on a flat course, was 4:35. I've also done one on the track, which was like 4:48. I think this isn't a very hilly course. It's probably got 1,500 feet in it, all in the beginning of the race. Pretty much from mile 10 on, it's flat-ish. But I really want to push for 5 hours. And I think, just historically looking at the race results, I think that can get me in the top 15 of the race, which would make me very happy. The irony there is I know 5 dudes in my age group, 40 to 44, that unless something happens to them, they're going to whoop my legs. You got like, when I go through the 40 to 44 age group, you may not know them by name, but they're all the guys I train with. You're gonna be, I know that. Oh, I've seen that guy in a reel. I've seen that guy in a video. It's all the same guys that I train with. It's former pacers in hundreds. Like, guys are fast. So I'll take a guy like my very good friend, Ryan Barisi. He is way fitter than me, more experienced than me, mentally stronger than me now. And like, but he's a guy that I would love to be able to run with one day. He's the guy that when I go on a training run, I know that he's kind of waiting for me. And not in a bad way, but like I'm just not there yet. And he works way harder than I do right now. So there's certain ways I got to level up. I have no business. I tell you all that to tell you this. I have no business going out before him. And I will. And he's already said, like, I wonder what mile I'll catch you. And I want to go in. And I think I'm just going to try and stay with Ryan, or at least start behind him. Because you got Ryan, Ken, Nikki, Chris Lorenzini, all these freaking animals. Now, Nikki, he's a little guy, not in stature, but I mean age. So I don't have to worry about him. But everybody else in my age group is really, really fit. And it's awesome. You should be training with everyone that's fitter than you. But I really need to make sure that I do not, under any circumstances, allow them to race my race. Because that's a weakness of mine. You know, that's an ego thing that I just need to put in check and understand. But guys, I suck at it. I just suck at that. So the race is Saturday. We're recording this on a Tuesday. I'm going to get this right out. And I would love any DMs or any support or any tips you have about how I could dial that in if you happen to listen to this between now and then. But Friday, we're going to take it nice and easy. I'm a high carb guy as it is. The other thing that I really want to change in this race, and this is something that I'm also trying to gain experience in, is not overpacking for a race. I think that many of us, especially in the early stages, we hear the word ultramarathon or we hear the word trail, and we immediately think that we need like a huge pack on and multiple liters of water and all these snacks. And I kind of said to Tara the other day, and this is along the same lines of us being aid station captains last year, like in a 50K at the 10-mile aid station, do you need like peanut butter and jellies and bacon and like we've all seen like that the ultra marathon aid stations can be overkill, but not even in a sense of other people, but for myself, like should I be worrying about peanut butter and jellies at aid stations, even in a 50K at this point with the fitness that I'm at? Now, granted, if I was going to be out there 7-8 hours, yeah, maybe. But with what my goals are, do I even need a pack? Like there's aid stations every 5 or 6 miles. And I know when I did the race the first time, I knew it was going to be slower, so I had a pack. And I think this whole winter, I've gone in with the plan that I'm going to run with a handheld and a couple of gels. And inside that handheld is going to be some Work Epic endurance formula. And that should get me the carbs. That's going to be another thing that we're thinking about. Now, with that said, it's been cold and rainy all spring, and they're saying 70 degrees, which isn't hot for a lot of people. But when you're coming out of winter and you haven't realized 70 degrees in humidity, I'm still going to go for it. I still want to run without a pack. I want to get used to, and I've seen this time and time again. When I did the Grand Canyon, everyone joked like, "Did you bring the whole deli in your pack?" Like I had full course meals, and then when I did the AT with Jake, I feel like that dude brought a can of Coke and 2 handhelds, and I had 75 Springer waffles with me, and that still wasn't enough food. And I'm so focused on when am I going to get to eat? What am I going to get to eat? Where it's like, hey, Brad, you are going to be putting out this effort, this intensity for this amount of time. Here's about how many calories and carbs that you need, and here's how many milligrams of electrolytes you need. Let's just make that happen. And I've gotten a lot better carrying all that stuff on me. The shorts that I wear, they have a nice little waist belt built into them. I'm not really a standard waist belt kind of guy, but I can carry 6, 7, 8 gels on me in the shorts that I wear. And if you're curious about those shorts, they're not sponsored, so I'm not going to say them here, but you can DM me. I'm not going to hide it from you if you want to know what shorts I'm wearing. But yeah, that's going to be definitely different for me as far as running without a pack. I'm going to swap out handhelds. My wife and kids will be there probably every 5-6 miles or so. And they'll pretty much fill up my other one, meet me at the next one. And that's going to be that. And I should be able to do that. Like I said, a gel an hour is 4 gels. That's really all I should need. And if I get to needing a 5th gel, then I'll screw it and I'll just eat something in an aid station. But I think I'll be pretty good. The shoes that I'm going to be wearing, I'm going to be wearing the Mount Coast T1s. I've been very, very happy with them. I'm going back and forth. I still don't know if they're the UTMB shoe, to be honest. I'm going back and forth between them and the Prodigio Pro. And I find that they have different strengths and weaknesses. And it might just be a course specific thing where I'm bringing them with me and then seeing what the course really gives me. The platform on the Mount Coast, they're a little bit wider. Okay, so in the soft sandy stuff that I'll see here on the island, I just like them a little bit better than the Prodigio Pro. Where I'm torn is the Prodigio Pro are a little bit snappier. They're a little bit quicker. So like on buffed, not even technical and rocky terrain, they're very, very good. But in the soft stuff, they're just not as good as the T1s. The T1s are also stupid light, which is definitely going to make things easier. The Prodigio Pros are light, but the T1s are even lighter, which is mind-blowing. But those are pretty much the shoes. People have been asking me what kind of shoes that I'm going to be rocking. And I'm going to be pretty happy with my decision either way. I think I've done long runs in both the Prodigio Pros and in the T1s. And as far as like foot comfort and things like that, they're both the same as far as comfort. I think more, like I said, the type of terrain, the outsole grip, I think the T1s are just going to be better off in the certain conditions. I've run on the trails now. I've run on the course a few different times. Speaking of the course, for anybody that's doing this race that hasn't heard, they changed the course this year. There was a problem with one of the dams and a bridge crossing over one of the, was a pond and then a river, and then it broke. But so the course actually has become less road and more trail, which is kind of nice. They rerouted it. So I'm really, really excited to see that. But once again, that might throw off kind of my time predictions. But I'm excited. I think if we look at the goals of the race and what I'll be talking about for next Monday's episode when we recap this and we officially start UTMB training and podcasts, if I can go out nice and easy, not blow up, kind of know that I want my overall pace to be somewhere between like 840 and 850. If my pace is somewhere between 840 and 850, I have no business. That's kind of what I'm going to watch. Usually I watch my heart rate coming out, which always, I don't know why you even watch my heart rate, because I say I'm going to watch it and then it shoots up into the high 150s and I don't slow down. but I think I'm going to put it on pace to start. And I know that I probably shouldn't be going out anything less than 8-minute pace if I want to end at 8:40s. So that's going to be goal number 1. Goal number 2 is to have some fun. I'm racing with my brother, which is going to be awesome. Sorry, Dan, but I'm probably going to whoop your legs. Talk a little brother trash there. And then just maybe not get blown out of the water by Ryan and Ken and Chris. I'm going to go out and say that those 3 guys will probably be ahead of me on they'll probably be the podium, if I'm being honest. I think Ken's going to just blaze this thing out, and then we'll see Chris and Ryan kind of go for second and third, and then maybe I can come in 4 or 5. Obviously, there's probably somebody in the 40 to 44 that I don't know. I don't know everybody. But I think if I can be maybe top 6 in my age group, I think I'd be very, very happy with that. And top 15 in the race, I think I'd be very, very happy with that. But just I want to learn things going into UTMB. I'm also treating so many of these things now as fun and exciting, but also just really, really nice training opportunities, learning opportunities. And I think with that nutrition plan that I talked about, being able to say, hey, we can go out on these amount of type runs, these amount of hours, and we don't need to overpack, because I do have some adventure runs planned in June up in the White Mountains. And if I don't need to overpack for them, that's definitely going to help. So I hope this quick, just a little episode, I really wanted to put something out there. I wanted to say the things. I want to put things into fruition. I want to put things on paper, and I want to put them out into the ether so that if I do go out and blow up 6 miles in, you can be like, all right, Brad's human. He said he was going to do that. He's a freaking idiot. But that's maybe not the case. Before we get out of here too, if you could please leave a review or a rating. I'm not telling you what to put, but I'm learning more about the algorithms of podcasting and things like that. And I know that Spotify, they go by the amount of ratings that you have when they push people to the top on search. And obviously the word of mouth you guys have had has been awesome, but it'd be great if somebody opened up Spotify or Apple Music and searched Ultra Marathon and my podcast came up. And the way that is going to happen is through reviews and through ratings. So if you could just take a second, if you're listening on whatever streaming device you're listening, that would greatly help me out, just helping grow the podcast. But frankly, because I'm going to need all the help I can get going into UTMB, and I want to try and reach as many people as done that. Speaking of reaching people, guys, I have a free Discord community where you guys can sit and chat. And yeah, if you don't know what Discord is, try it out. Just a chat room. I'll leave a link down in the description, the show notes, so that you can just click right into that. And I'll see you in there, and it'd be great to chat. It's race week. Let's go have some fun. I hope you guys are having some fun too. And I'll catch you on Monday with the full race recap. And we'll see if I did anything I said I was going to do. All right, guys, take it easy.